Hey guys, Frightener22 here, and welcome to a brand new installment of At the Movies. I haven't done a new installment of this segment in quite some time, so I figured, I mentioned this in my DVD update that I was going to see Mars Needs Moms, and I would probably do an At the Movies, so here we are. I just got back from seeing Mars Needs Moms in 3D, and the whole reason why I really wanted to do this was because this is looking like it's going to be the last movie for Image Movers Digital, which is the production house that made this movie along with Monster House, The Polar Express, Beowulf, and A Christmas Carol, and Disney just several months ago, they quietly shut the studio down once the production of Mars Needs Moms wrapped, and they just kind of went public announcing that it was done a few short months ago, and then just 2 days ago, they pretty much put the brakes on Robert Zemeckis' motion capture adaptation of Yellow Submarine. So I really wanted to take a look at Mars Needs Moms because I thought it was a really fucking great movie. Obviously, the budget, it's a the budget is really, it's a very cost-effective and time-effective type of film using the motion capture technology, so the budget for it was a really bloated $150 million budget, and it only brought in about like 6.5 million this weekend, and IMDb, like the overall user ratings on it have been like 4.3 or 4.5, which I think is ridiculous because this movie is just kind of entered theaters, and it's kind of probably going to leave being a really, really underrated gem as far as animated films go. So let's take a look at this. The film deals with a kid named Milo, and he basically doesn't really appreciate his mom as much, as many kids don't, because they're constantly being told to do chores and whatnot. And it isn't until a bunch of Martians from Mars kidnapped her because Mars needs moms to look after their own Martians because they're just pretty much too lazy or incapable of doing it themselves. So once Milo catches wind of this, he jumps on the ship back to Mars before it leaves to save his mom. And along the way, he meets a fellow human that's been on Mars ever since he was a kid when his mother was abducted for the Martians on Mars as well. So the cast is headlined by a really, really cool group of people. Milo is played by Seth Green, although his actions and his movements are very much Seth Green, but in post-production, they realized that his voice sounded way too mature, or, just a little bit too mature for the 10-year-old character that he was playing, so he was dubbed by a real 10 or 11-year-old actor. So when you see his name in the credits, he was very much a part of the cast, but, in the final post-production stages, his voice just isn't there. His mom is played by the always great Joan Cusack, and the other human character that he meets on Mars is a character named Gripple, and it's played by Dan Fogler, who's really the biggest outlet of the comic relief in this film. He's really, really hilarious and a really great character to have around, and I don't know what it is why this film did so bad. I mean, you can really root it to a lot of things, and I've always been pretty good at kind of pinpointing why certain movies fail or why they were successful, but this one I can't really put my finger on. I mean, at the end of the day, you can just always bring it back down to basics and just simply say, just nobody went out and saw it. Like, it's just as simple as that. Maybe just nobody cared to go see it this weekend. But, like, the publicity was there for it. Like, I don't even watch that much, live TV now, but I was seeing, plenty of TV spots for it. I mean, it's a Disney film after all, so they weren't going to shy away from promoting this thing, especially since they dumped $150 million plus into it. So I can't really understand why it did so badly. I mean, as far as other animated kids films last weekend, there was really no real competition. I mean, of course, Rango opened up a week before, but that's not really an excuse as to why this film, hit number 5 on the box office and made such a small sum, like 6.5. It's really, really bad, but that's that's always the red flags for casual moviegoers to be like, oh, IMDb doesn't have great ratings on it, the box office returns weren't all that great. I don't think I'm going to see that, but this is why I think that you guys should see it, because, it's one of those things that this is going to be Image Movers Digital's last film, like I said, I mean, they're closing their doors now that, like, the box office opening for this film was really, really disastrous, and it's very cost effective to run a motion capture studio. That's just the way it's been. It's a relatively new technology, and, over the past few years, we've come a long, long way since the Polar Express. I mean, you can totally see, the achievements and the advancements and the achievements and all the technology since the Polar Express to, say, A Christmas Carol or even Mars Needs Moms. So, I mean, although it's still, very early, it's come a long way, and I just, personally, I don't know why people aren't as, welcoming of the technology as they are with traditional CG films like Pixar puts out. I just kind of always felt like it was the next gradual step. I mean, people are like, people always make, the complaint that it looks so weird. It's very spooky looking. They look creepy. I heard that a lot when the Polar Express came out. Like, their eyes are so lifeless and soulless. And while I could kind of see their points in the Polar Express, I can't really see people's constant bickering and hate towards the medium when you saw things like Beowulf and A Christmas Carol, and even Mars Needs Moms out, because the technology has just gotten so much more crisp, and it's really been defined. I just was always looking forward to more upcoming and new motion capture films, because I just kept thinking that with each film that used it, it was just getting better and better all the time. So I still can't put my fingers on it, because this seems like a quintessential kid movie that, all kids should see. I mean, these are the type of kid movies that I love to see, and, maybe I'm just looking a little bit too into this, but maybe I just got a little bit more out of it than most kids would. I mean, the character of Milo is exactly up my alley. I mean, he was a kid that is really into zombie movies, and his room is kind of adorned by, zombie and horror movie posters, and the cat, his cat in the household is named Cujo. So it was just these little nods that kind of, made me appreciate his character a whole lot more. And Dan Fogler's character, the character of Grippler, the other human on Mars, was also incredibly good, because, like I stated, his reason for being on Mars was because his mom was abducted from Earth to go back to Mars, and he tried to save her, but he is from like 20 years before, so he was a kid in like the 80s, so he's been on Mars ever since then. So you constantly, the dialogue between Milo and Grippler, are always, he's always making like pop culture references to the 1980s, whether he's bringing up like He-Man or moonwalking or the Rubik's Cube. So it's things like that I really got, an added kick out of his character. So it's just like the blending of those two things that, an adult or a parent could take their kid to, and both parties kind of get the best out of it. It's exactly the kind of chemistry that makes Pixar's films so successful, because the adults and the kids that go and see them enjoy them, immensely for two different reasons. And that's what I thought Mars Needs Moms had. I think it had, like, pretty much everything in it to make it an enjoyable film. It's, it's the right runtime. It's like 88 minutes. The motion capture never looked better. It's hysterical. I thought it was really funny. The set designs of each, just all the environments that all these characters are, like, inhabiting are just really great. One area in particular is, kind of reminiscent to Toy Story 3, where, all the toys are kind of in that garbage chute thing. That's where Gripple's character basically works, kind of in the underground lair of the Mars colony, and it's really, really cool, and just an incredible achievement as to what they accomplished with this technology. So it's really a shame that not more people went out and saw it, but then again, it's only in its second week of release, so I kind of hope that the box office returns continue to increase, because it's a film that is just, hits all the right notes for a kid's film. It's a wonderful achievement in animation, and if not for nothing else, I mean, it's the last time that you're going to see, the Image Movers digital logo up on the screen, because they have officially shut their doors now. And although it is kind of a shame now that Disney's kind of putting, the roadblocks on Robert Zemeckis' Yellow Submarine, I felt bittersweet about it, because I've always trusted Zemeckis with the technology, and although I've never seen the original Beatles Yellow Submarine film, I was looking forward to seeing Zemeckis' take on it, because he's really a master of this technology. He's really been there since the dawn of this technology, and really championing it all throughout his films, in the last few years, and he's also a huge Beatles nut, so I was really looking forward to that. But another thing that's kind of a damper is that Image Movers Digital was also had the proposed Roger Rabbit sequel, as well as the Nutcracker in the pipeline. So I don't know if, you know, Disney is going to put the brakes on Roger Rabbit in this proposed Nutcracker film now that the doors are shut. I highly doubt that, because Zemeckis is still being vocal that the script, that the original screenwriters of Roger Rabbit 1 are still currently penning the Roger Rabbit sequel. So I think that Disney still sees dollar signs for Roger Rabbit 2. I just think that they're a little, you know, overwhelmed with the fact that they're losing so much money on such a costly product. But, you know, that's why the whole purpose of this review is that I think it's a really, really great film, and more people need to see it, because, you know, that's pretty much the last effort that Image Movers Digital is going to offer to audiences forever, it seems. Well, guys, that's all I got for you this time. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch you in a future video. This is Frightener22.